How's it going, guys and girls? Hope you guys are having a great weekend. So I'm back today with another video. Now, I didn't do one of these last month, guys, because there wasn't much coming out, but in August there are a lot of good games coming out. So here are my top 5 picks of games coming out this month that look really interesting. So let's start off with the first game coming out on August the 15th, and that is Agents of Mayhem, which will be available on the PS4, Xbox One and PC. Now, this is an open world action adventure game, and it's developed by Volition. And for those of you that might not know, Volition are very well known for bringing us the Saints Row series. Now, there have been some confusion about this game, whether or not it is another Saints Row game. It very much looks like one in terms of the art style and the color palette, but it is not. It is a spin-off of the Saints Row series, which will include several plot and character crossovers. It is very slightly linked to Saints Row in the fact that it does take place after the Recreate Earth ending of the Saints Row 4 expansion Gat Out of Hell. Now, the game takes place in a futuristic version of Seoul in South Korea called the City of Tomorrow. The game will feature 12 different agents that players can play as, and you can choose up to 3 agents to complete any given missions or explore the world. Players can switch freely between these 3 agents, and the game's plot revolves around an organization known as Mayhem, which stands for Multinational Agency Hunting Evil Masterminds, and their ultimate goal is to stop the supervillain organization Legion from destroying the world's nations. And that is the gist of the story. Now, I have to say, the game looks fun. If it's anything like the Saints Row series, it's gonna have a lot of humor in there. The characters are all very different and unique. The gameplay looks fun too. It looks fast, fluid, enjoyable. The different sort of weapons that you can use, and each character can have special abilities and superpower abilities, which are known as sort of mayhem moves, which you get from sort of charging your bar, from sort of killing enemy AI. Now, the gameplay looks fun. It looks interesting. It looks colorful and it looks different. And if you are a fan of the Saints Row series, then probably this is going to be a game that you're going to want to pick up and play. Number 2 is Sonic Mania. Now, this is coming out on August the 15th on PS4, Xbox One, the Nintendo Switch, and also on PC. Now, many consider the 90s to be the Sonic heyday of Sonic games. You know, that was the pinnacle of when Sonic was at its best on the Sega Mega Drive if you live in Europe, or the Sega Genesis, obviously, if you're from North America. Now, the game is developed by a fan for the fans. It is created by a longtime fan of the series, Christian Whitehead, who is very well known for previously working on enhanced ports of early Sonic games on mobile devices. Now, canonically speaking, it is set after the events of Sonic and Knuckles, which many consider to actually be the best Sonic game. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles will all be playable characters, and the game will use the sort of old 2D side-scrolling graphics that fans of the series are used to. The game will feature remastered versions of the original stages from the previous games, alongside some new stages as well. Now, I am a huge Sonic fan, and I am really excited to play Sonic Mania. I played the hell out of Sonic 2 on the Sega Mega Drive and really enjoyed it. I have lots of great memories from my childhood playing it. So the nostalgia factor here, I think, is what makes this game so appealing to many fans of the series. And I know a lot of Sonic fans have been wanting a good 2D traditional Sonic game for quite a while, and have not been fans of the way that the series has been evolving and developing. So Sonic Mania, if you are a fan of Sonic, of the original Sonic games, then Sonic Mania is probably right up your street. Number 3, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. This is coming out on August the 22nd, exclusively on the PS4. It is a standalone expansion to the Uncharted series. Now, this is not DLC content, but it is not as big as Uncharted 4. Naughty Dog have sort of said that they estimate the game's length to be well over 10 hours, and in this game, players can control a fan favorite Chloe Fraser, who is basically seeks the tusk of Ganesh in the mountains of India, which are in the midst of a civil war, and she actually recruits the help of mercenary Nadine Ross, who will be very familiar for those that have played the Uncharted 4 series, as she was one of the main antagonists in that game. Now it is set 6 to 12 months after the events of Uncharted 4, and the Lost Legacy explores the backstory and heritage of Chloe Fraser, played by the very talented Claudia Black. The gameplay, of course, looks great. We have seen some gameplay footage of the Lost Legacy, and a lot of the gameplay elements from Uncharted 4 are here. So stealth is back, the lasso, the whip is back. Of course, there's going to be lots of gunplay, there's going to be lots of parkour, lots of climbing. The Jeep is back, so all the great gameplay elements that we loved in Uncharted 4 are going to be here. But in addition as well, Naughty Dog have also introduced a new lock-picking mechanic where you can pick treasure chests in the world and discover these and gain sort of lots of things from that. So Uncharted 4 The Lost Legacy looks great. Now this is going to be the game that I am going to play. It's going to be my next Let's Play series. I really enjoyed Uncharted 4. I love Chloe Fraser. She was one of my favorite characters from Uncharted 2, and I'm very happy to see her back, and I'm really excited to play as her. And it's going to be interesting to play an Uncharted game not in the role of Nathan Drake, and I'm really interested to see how that's going to work, how that's going to go. And I'm hoping we're going to get to see some really cool cameos. It would be really great to see some different characters in there and some references to other characters in the universe. Number 4, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. This is coming out on August the 29th, exclusively on the Nintendo Switch. It is an up-and-coming turn-based tactical role-playing game developed and published by Ubisoft. Now, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle features turn-based combat similar to the XCOM series and also includes elements of exploration. The game features 8 playable characters in the form of Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach and Yoshi from the Mario franchise, as well as 4 rabbits dressed as the former. Now, the characters wield special guns that shoot laser beams, and the game also features 2-player local cooperative play. Now, this game was announced at E3 this year, and it looks really interesting. I love the whole dynamic of having the rabbits in the Mario universe, so there's going to be a lot of humor there. The gameplay looks different, it looks interesting, and this is definitely going to be a game that we're going to pick up and play. I already know that Dante is absolutely going to be buying this game, so I will be playing it, and of course at some point we'll bring you guys some gameplay footage and our general impressions or review of this game. And number 5, Life is Strange Before the Storm. This is set for release on August 31st on the PS4, Xbox One and PC. It is a prequel, and it is a episodic graphic adventure video game developed by Deck 9. It is set as a prequel to Life is Strange and will focus on 16-year-old Chloe Price 3 years prior to the events of that game. Unlike its predecessor though, the game does not include time travel, and instead Before the Storm features the ability known as Backtalk, in which the player can call upon Chloe to get out of precarious situations. Now, backtalk may also make a situation worse as well, so there are going to be a lot of choices to make in the game, very similar to the first Life is Strange, and there will be consequences to the choices that you make. But this Chloe is a rebellious 16-year-old teenager who's going through a lot of life trouble and issues at the time, so she's a lot more cynical, she's darker, she's more rebellious in nature, and that's going to be kind of interesting to play. But if you did enjoy Life is Strange, if you do enjoy these sort of episodic graphic adventure games, then this very much might be a game for you. Now, there are some honorable mentions that I wanted to mention this month. Some games coming out that aren't on the list, but I do think look interesting. Firstly is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. This is coming out on August the 8th, exclusively on PS4 and PC, and it can be best described as an independent AAA game by developer Ninja Theory. Now, the story is based on Celtic and Norse mythology, and the game is focused on Senua's point of view as she embarks on a very personal journey through a hellish underworld, which is pretty much made up of Senua's sort of psychotic manifestations of her reality and her mind. Now, Hellblade will be an experience focused on developing a deep character in a twisted world with a brutal, uncompromising combat. And those words are exactly from the developers. The game looks interesting. The whole concept of exploring mental health problems and psychosis, it sounds really interesting, and I'm really interested in exploring it. It sounds great in terms of a single player sort of story focused experience. It's going to have elements of combat in there, as well as puzzle solving and ways in which you can view the world through this psychosis. It looks really interesting either way, so it is definitely a game on my radar that I'm very much interested in tackling. And I love it when video games take on these sorts of issues and try to comment on things going on in the world. And I think that's really interesting and really ambitious for a developer to be doing this, because a lot of developers nowadays play things safe. So it's interesting to see a developer sort of pushing the boundaries of what video games can comment on. And finally, Yakuza Kiwami, which comes out on August 29th exclusively on the PS4. Now, this is a remake of the original Yakuza game, the first game in the Yakuza series. It kind of goes quite nicely because in January, I think it was, Yakuza 0 came out, which is a prequel to this game. So if you haven't played that game, it might be worth playing it before picking up this game at the end of the month or next month. The game follows a staple main character, Kazumi Kiryu. So just like the previous installment, the game will allow players to switch between different fighting styles. Now, Kiwami it has improved the resolution, frame rate, textures and loading times compared to the original game, and there is also some additional content as well that has been added to resolve some of the sort of more confusing plot points that existed in the original Yakuza game. So if you're a fan of the Yakuza games and you enjoyed the first game, or if you haven't played any of the Yakuza game and you've wanted to sort of pick it up and play it, then this game definitely might be up your alley. Now, the starting price on this I think is $29.99, which is quite a reasonable price for this game. And that could very well be because it is a remake of the original game. But anyway, those are some of the games coming out in August. August looks like a really interesting month for many game releases. It seems like the game industry now, as we're sort of going out of summer into fall, does start to pick up. So there will be more interesting games released each month. But August looks like a good start to that. Let me know what you guys think of these games in the comment section below. Are there any of these games that you are looking to pick up and play? Let me know in the comment section below. Hope you guys are having a great week. Take care, and as always, happy gaming. How's it going, guys and girls? Hope you guys are having a great weekend. So I'm back today with another video. Now, I didn't do one of these last month, guys, because there wasn't much coming out, but in August there are a lot of good games coming out. So here are my top 5 picks of games coming out this month that look really interesting. So let's start off with the first game coming out on August the 15th, and that is Agents of Mayhem, which will be available on the PS4, Xbox One and PC. Now, this is an open world action adventure game, and it's developed by Volition. And for those of you that might not know, Volition are very well known for bringing us the Saints Row series. Now, there have been some confusion about this game, whether or not it is another Saints Row game. It very much looks like one in terms of the art style and the color palette, but it is not. It is a spin-off of the Saints Row series, which will include several plot and character crossovers. It is very slightly linked to Saints Row, in the fact that it does take place after these to complete any given missions or explore the world. Players can switch freely between these 3 agents, and the game's plot revolves around an organization known as Mayhem, which stands for Multinational Agency Hunting Evil Masterminds, and their ultimate goal is to stop the supervillain organization Legion recreate Earth ending of the Saints Row 4 expansion Gat Out of Hell. Now the game takes place in a futuristic version of Seoul in South Korea called the City of Tomorrow. The game will feature 12 different agents that players can play as, and you can choose up to 3 agents